back to
What is up,
Collision
people?
EV podcast, Jim. No. This is mine now. I'm taking this one. This is my because as a Tesla Semi reservation holder, we have exciting news to talk about this week.
Tesla Semi.
I think we're all Tesla Semi reservation holders, right?
I put my $12,000 or $20,000.
Who didn't put 20 grand down?
20 grand. Oh yeah, totally. I have so much money, I forgot how much it was. It just, yeah.
You save money in the first 2 years of ownership, so it breaks even. Yeah, you have to get it.
I don't think it works like that.
Well, I think it says a lot if the Semi it is apparently time to enter volume production. I saw a lot of people interpret that in different ways. They were like, I'm going to hold off excitement until we have more details on when this is happening or where it's happening. It's like, read the memo. Didn't you get the memo? Like, it says now is the time, or it is the time to start volume production. I think that means now. Why would he send out a memo and say it is the time if
it is the time
he
in
meant
6
3 months
weeks.
from now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is the time in 6 weeks. Now is the time.
It is
in
the
6
time
weeks.
next year. So now that we're hearing Semi deliveries won't be till 2021, which they said at the last earnings report, do you guys think hearing this now means early 2021?
I hope so. That'd be really cool.
This is kind
I'm
of
already
exciting, the next
planning
big
my
product.
van life conversion. I'm already.
We talked about this last week,
said-
right? The whole tiny home living.
I've been thinking about it
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
since. Like, I'm like, okay, Tesla makes a van. I'm totally going to live in it for like a year. Just hit the road.
A little bigger than a van. But you're the only one here who has seen
I
and
know.
maybe touched
right?
the Tesla
I've
Semi.
touched it.
So
I've
weird.
touched it. I licked it. I licked it. I rubbed my finger.
Can you tell
over
that
the
story
mirror.
for people who don't know that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking about the special
It's
experiences
a cool
that I've
story.
had. So I was just sitting at home.
Broke into Elon's apartment.
Exactly. Yes. Now he lives in an apartment because he sold his house for $1. So
I wouldn't put it past you, Nick. That's all I'm saying. Knowing what I know,
Hey.
knowing what I know about you, I wouldn't put it past you.
Shush, Randy. Shush. No one asked your opinion. I did actually. I was just sitting at home on a Saturday, watching YouTube videos as one does, and I'd never seen this creator before. One of my favorite Tesla creators, besides Drew, who I've now learned about.
How dare you?
I'm not a creator. It doesn't count.
You are creative. You're super creative. But Derek from Tesla Inventory had actually posted a video. It was like, oh, we found a model. We found a Tesla Semi. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. So I clicked on it. And as I was watching the video, I'm like, wait a minute. I know that repair center. Wait a minute. I know that Walmart. Wait a minute. I know where that street is. Wait a minute, when was this posted? 6 hours ago. Wait a minute, what? Is this thing still there? That's exactly what it is. I'm like, this is never going to happen again. I have nothing to do today. So I hopped in my car and I drove 40 minutes on just a hunch that there was going to be a Semi there. And it was there. And there was no one else there. I walked up to the showroom and I was like, so do you guys have a Tesla Semi? And the guy's like, yeah, it's out back. I can't legally tell you if it's there or not. Or he didn't say it's out back. Anyway, he's like, I can't legally
After just
confirm or
telling
deny
you
that
it's
it's
in the
there,
back.
but look in the back. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's what he said. So I pull up my gas
Legally.
car into the Tesla, service center parking lot, and all Teslas. I'm the one with the and the gas coming out the pipe. And I'm like, I don't care. It's the Semi. Exactly.
In a Model T.
Exactly. Gotta Yeah, I can see it.
So you saw it. What did you think of it? First impressions as the
first
only Semi viewer here.
The first impressions of the Semi were it's a semi truck. Like, it's not smaller than a semi truck.
Oh
like,
my god.
It looks so much sleeker than a semi truck on the videos and stuff. So it doesn't really feel like a semi truck. But when you're in person with it, like, it's taller than me. Which
It looks like a
very few
Tonka
vehicles
truck
can say
next
that.
to you.
I'm gonna throw a picture up if I remember in post to throw a picture up of myself standing in front of it, and it's pretty tall. Like, I don't even think my head went over to the windshield. Like, it's like up to the bottom of the windshield. Like, it's a big vehicle. One of my favorite parts about it, though, is because Tesla at that point only had two different pre-production units.
wow.
I was actually touching the exact Tesla Semi that Elon climbed out on stage. So.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's cool.
Nick,
my God.
did you see the inside of the cabin?
I did, yeah.
What's
I'll
that
have to show
like?
some B-roll of that. So it's the center,
he sent
the
me some
center
of those
chair,
videos.
and then there's the 2 cameras. And at the time, they had a bunch of GoPros and stuff mounted
Screens,
to the inside of the
not
windshield.
cameras.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, screens. Thank you. I'm
The
excited.
Model 3
Can you tell?
displays. I think they're the same screens as the Model 3.
It was difficult to tell because it was kind of up like that, but yeah, they were about that size because I could only really see the top of them.
I'm surprised no one tested the armored glass through a metal ball.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
So actually, I saw it twice that day because I went there and I was like, oh wow, cool, the semi, and I took some pictures and whatever. But there were other people coming and going, and I felt bad I didn't have a Tesla because like all of the other people who were showing up to take pictures of it also had Teslas.
Were they doing the Gosling?
What is
Look
this
at
peasantry?
Yeah,
Exactly.
What is this?
Is that
one
an
doing here?
exhaust pipe?
It doesn't
I
plug
do
in.
not speak poor.
So anyway, I took some pictures or whatever. And
Where are
then
your
I was
wired
there for maybe-
headphones, peasant?
So I was there for like maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm done. And so I
Did you
left,
have
and I went to
somebody
the-
take a photo of you, some stranger then?
I did, yeah. One of the
Okay.
Tesla owners who was looking down on me. And at the time, I had sold my 10S because it was between iPhone season, and I was using Drew's old 6 Plus.
Yeah.
So, like, I really had no social clout in that crowd. Like an old 6
Oh,
Plus.
It's a shame too because I wish
know,
we could
all
have.
the footage was
If anything,
1080
if
at
a
30.
semi was 40 minutes for me, I would absolutely drop what I'm doing and drive there and get as much B-roll as possible. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame.
Well, now you have B-roll. But anyway, I left and went to the Apple store, and then I was at the Apple store, and I was like, "This is never going to happen again. Like, I need to go back." So I went back, and I spent like 30 minutes with it. And I looked at all the motors, and I got on the ground and looked underneath it, and it's a semi.
Wow.
Like, it's huge. It has 4 Model 3 motors in the back, and
Who would have thunk?
That's right.
This
It's
is-
the only Tesla with 4 motors.
each one's driving a different wheel. Like the way they're set up, like 1 motor per wheel, and there's really nothing else. Like it's literally.
I think it's easy to say most exciting semi truck of all time.
totally. I never went to
can't
the
think-
freight.
I never thought
factory
those
and
words would be
looked
used
at-
in a sentence.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
I think it's safe to assume they come with all the full self-driving stuff, right?
Oh,
They wouldn't
should.
charge
Oh, yeah.
$7,000-8,000 for the semi truck to get full self-driving, would they?
No.
No, I think that's just built
And
in.
for an additional
be.
$7,000 out of your $250,000 purchase, we'll probably consider giving you full self-driving.
I mean, you might make the argument that hey, $7,000 isn't that much if you're spending $200,000 anyway.
But the companies will be spending it, so they're going to be penny pinching, even if they're
Okay.
spending $250,000 on trucks.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's fascinating to hear. It was very sketchy at first because I read the memo that was leaked. It was going around that Elon said they want to do the batteries and powertrains at Giga Nevada, which makes sense because these things are going to require so many batteries. Holy crap! I don't think it's even a. No, I don't think there's a single vehicle on the road with a battery that large. Not even close. Rumored to be. Based on calculations I was seeing people make on Twitter, the standard range semi would be like 500 kilowatt hours, and the long range would be 850 kilowatt hours. So not quite a megawatt, which some people were expecting. They thought it was going to be 1,000, which would literally be 10 Model S battery packs put together.
megawatts.
21 gigawatts.
Yeah, wasn't quite that much, but yeah, what I think this says a lot about the battery supply chain if they're able to start producing it, but you also have to consider that demand for this thing has to be, compared to other Teslas, insanely low.
In the
Like-
tens.
Well, I mean, there's a website I read recently that calculated and rounded up every single company that came forward and said they reserved semi-trucks, and they counted 500
Reservations or companies?
reservations. But I think it was Walmart or some big brands that reserved like 100 of them or something. Like they put big money
Well,
down.
I mean, that's
and
their
they're not cheap
audience.
to reserve.
That's their
Yeah.
their target demographic is the Walmarts, the Amazons, the
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Lay's chips should be easy because the truck will weigh nothing. So there will
Actually,
be
I
like
think it weighs
no
negative.
cargo.
It weighs negative.
It actually lowers the weight for Lay's chips. When you open a bag of Lay's chips, they just start floating. But yeah, like then I read that report, and what confused me about it, and this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about and pick your brain on, because he said the actual assembly of the truck themselves will be done out of state. And he didn't say at a gigafactory.
He said we
so
shall
that
see.
led a lot of people saying, yeah, we shall see. A lot of people assuming that they might outsource this production.
No. Tesla is vertically integrated. I did see your video on this, Drew. Tesla
But
is
where are they gonna
vertically
build it?
integrated. I don't know. Put up a tent in Fremont. They did it before.
If
They're
it
only
is
building
the
500
time-
of them
Then why not just say in the memo they're going to be assembled in Fremont? I don't get it.
because he hadn't figured it out yet. There's no way they're outsourcing
I
it.
think
If they outsource it,
because I think because the quantities are so low, it might make sense to outsource it.
I'll be honest
why?
with you.
They already built 2 of them. They can just build another 498 of them.
I think cost factor might play the biggest factor, and I think it would make the most sense to outsource because the demand is so low. No, I
Well,
agree.
I mean, just in sheer numbers, I agree. Tesla's all about vertical integration, but when it comes to a vehicle that think about how many reservations there are for the Model Y, for the Roadster,
right.
the Semi is like maybe 1,000 in total.
Like about
So
10
does it
minutes
make
worth of
sense?
Cybertruck orders from today.
Yeah. So would it make sense to dedicate an entire assembly line at
I
their
get it.
factories just for the Semi? Like maybe they don't know because the demand is still unproven. But
I think the first batch is the one that will be outsourced, and then going forward,
Okay.
once they see, because them on the road is the marketing. People are gonna see it. I'm gonna want to get in on that, and I think eventually they will get to the point where it will be done in house. But I think the first batch, because pre-orders of that, and it is so small. I think cost
very late.
Very late. I think it makes the most economic sense for their bottom line just to outsource it for now. I would like for it to be wrong, obviously, yeah, but I think where else would they put it? Just the way they implied it out of state, like where would it go right now? We know they're not breaking ground in Oklahoma, Texas, so it just doesn't make sense to where it is. And this is obviously going on the premise that early 2021, which feels like that's right. The timeline's not adding up for me.
There's going to be so much attention on the first company that gets theirs. Everyone's going to want to talk to that one driver who's just doing his job. Okay, here's your new truck. And he's like, what the heck is this thing?
Where's the key? And they're like, here's a card. And he's like, what?
That would be hilarious, though. I mean, I've seen both ends of the spectrum. For whatever reason, I'm very confused.
I would drive
by
it.
But whenever I do Tesla Semi videos, they get a ton of views. And it makes no sense because I know most of these people are not semi-truck drivers, but I get some semi-truck drivers saying it sounds cool and this is the future, and I get some semi-truck drivers commenting, this is stupid, this is ridiculous. I've seen both sides, but if the first guy who drives the Tesla Semi just hates it, and he's like not a Tesla guy at all, he's like a hardcore heavy diesel, and he has to get into this car with displays and no buttons, and he's just like, what am I
There are only 2 cup holders.
Yeah.
I just picture
I sit
some
in the
guy.
middle.
I tell you what, this ain't my grandfather's industry no more. I tell you,
He's gonna go up to the door handle and
it
be like,
smells like clean in here.
he's gonna completely thrash it. It just
That's why they
throw
have the
junk
armor
right
glass
out.
on it.
Yeah. But I mean, anywhere that truck is going, which makes me think do you think that Tesla should be the first customer for the Semi? They should use it before everybody else.
Yes. Oh yeah. Marketing.
Yeah,
Images, everything.
I think so too. Especially with their impact
Where,
report showcasing. Well, the semi trucks in Fremont are running 24/7. They're bringing in parts and delivering Teslas, and almost every delivery day vehicle I've seen, when the vehicle comes to the customer, not the customer goes and picks it up, it comes on this big giant diesel semi truck. So if the first batch of semis they start producing are delivering Teslas or delivering parts to the factory, I think that would say a lot that that work. It would also not be good for Tesla to start making the Semi and then Tesla not use it. I also think that would come across as weird. If you are building a semi truck, but you got to use these other companies' semi trucks before It's like, what's wrong? Why can't you use your own? They'd be like,
If the
"Well."
semi does not appear on the Jay Leno show, I'm not going to be interested in it.
I think it already did. Elon pulled up in the exact same semi that they had on stage.
You could see Jay in the center of that.
Oh, well, Jesus, I take a look
What
at this. What do you know? Do you think this will go through the tunnel? Let's take a look. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
What's going on?
probably won't make it through the boring company tunnel. Could see Jay Leno taking it through and it just breaking the top half off.
That's all
I
at the
don't
top.
know, Elon.
It's just
This was
it's
not-
all
this
just
was okay.
fiberglass or
What's
whatever.
going on,
Like,
guys?
the cab doesn't go all the way up to the top.
Yeah, you know what I should have asked, or someone should have asked Elon about, is will they put sensors on the very top of the semi so that it will break in the event that the clearance is too high,
Oh,
like a bridge or something, or an
That
overpass?
10-foot 6-inch bridge video. You're thinking back to those Penske trucks.
Yeah, would the Tesla be able to see that and be like, "Oh, shoot, stop," or would it just plow right through it? And autopilot's like, "I saw the lines on the road. I don't see a problem." Could that be it?
Huh.
So autopilot's all focused on road. It's not.
What's
too
the
focused
problem?
on
I saw
what's
the
above it.
lines. I did my job.
That's on the driver to figure out.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
Maybe
well.
they
the-
should look
it
into
can't
that.
get
I
too
don't think it would
tall,
screech
right?
and stop on the freeway, but it might like blink at the driver, like, "Hey, you're not gonna fit."
Hey, you need to
Yeah.
get off this
Whoa.
exit and wrap around or
Drew.
something.
Do that again.
What? I don't know.
We
I
have a
just
Tesla,
whistling.
folks. Drew is sitting in, for those audio listeners, Drew is just sitting in a Tesla. That was a perfect rendition of the sound.
I hate to be that guy, gents, but that is not the sound it makes when you're about to do something. Boop boop
Oh.
boop 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 boop. That's
No,
the
mine
sound.
sounded more realistic.
Yeah, well, I do better impressions than you, so take that.
Well, the host left the show. I
I'm
guess
gonna do the rest of the
host
show
is-
in my Tesla.
You should one day.
Do you think
It'd be cool.
the other thing to talk about with the semi is they have not appeared to do anything with the mega charger network yet? Do you think we're going to see something about that in the next 6 months or so?
Ooh, battery day.
Oh,
Stop.
I can't even talk about battery day anymore because I'm so upset about how we still don't know when it is. I'm so frustrated. I'm actually mad about this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're mad.
Do you
I'm
think
sorry that
Elon's
this has
just
affected
waiting
you
for the
personally.
pandemic to be over?
I don't know what Homeboy's doing anymore. I keep waiting for this new Giga Austin or whatever battery day. I have so many expectations about certain things. I'm just like I don't know anymore. At this point, just go, Elon's
It's
probably
killing me.
Do you ever think that I know related to something else, but do you think Elon might be intentionally just focused more on like other curricular activities like SpaceX and stuff, and he's just not putting the same attention into
an other curricular activity, Randy.
what I'm saying?
Somewhat recently,
It's just
yeah,
that with
somewhat
the,
recently, I would agree. He seems to be spending a lot of time with SpaceX because there have been huge milestones going on with them right now. So it's
right now,
understandable. but
right now, I feel like he's intentionally at a standstill because of COVID and quarantine and everything that's going on.
Well, he has said that he'll be. There was a leaked memo about wanting to get quality control better for the Model Y, and that he would be on the assembly lines helping with that. So that's somewhat recent. So it sounds like he's at least now starting to go back
yeah,
and work on.
I
Tesla
kind of
stuff,
feel like
but-
because the overall with these new. We have all these questions about Tesla, and it's like, I think him as the CEO is at a standstill that he just can't say certain things. So he's just diverting his attention towards SpaceX for the time being, until that timing comes. It doesn't make sense otherwise right now. I feel like everything is timing. I think we're just waiting. I just don't understand why. What difference does it make if you just do it now as opposed to in August or whenever? Why do we have to wait?
Osborne effect.
Wow, Drew, what is the
But-
Osborne effect? I've never heard of this before.
Stop it. But the thing is, like, even with the announcements and stuff, the factories are still doing their thing. Like, you announce it, and what's
Yeah, I
happening is
just
still
mean
happening.
I'm convinced they're doing a bunch of work on the battery. I mean, they just got permission to use the lithium iron phosphates in China, which are cobalt free, which is good. But when it comes to when they announce the new battery technology, which there's some Project Roadrunner's the code name for it, there's been speculation that it's a new cell, so it's not the 2170 cells, it'll be something else. And some people thinking that the semi-volume production has something to do with that, because there was a lot of speculation that The Tesla Semi was not going into mass production on schedule because they wanted to wait until they got their new battery chemistry figured out before they start implementing it. So now the Semi's entering volume production, people are like, is it time? Is it ready?
Right.
But yeah, the key is not releasing the info, because behind the scenes, yes, they're doing a bunch of stuff, I'm sure. But the timing of when they announce it is everything, because if you announce it 6 months ahead of implementation, your sales are going to flatline. So they want to avoid that.
If they're doing
is my
Semi
guess.
already, then they're not going to be shipping Semis with old battery packs. Like, they're not going to have the first 3,000 units
Maybe
be
not.
old battery packs. They all have to be on that new, because they have to last 10 years,
Right.
20 years.
I thought the same thing, but some people corrected me later, which I wanted to bring up because I was thinking Tesla wanted to wait on the Semi until the million-mile battery. But other people also brought up the insane size. Battery degradation is based on cycle life, how many times the battery goes through 100% to zero. Not exactly, but just, a cycle.
Yep.
And when the battery packs in the semi-truck are so enormous, 500 kilowatt hours, and the rule of thumb still applies. The larger the battery pack, the slower the degradation, because it requires more cycles for those batteries to deteriorate, which could mean that even if you used the old cells on the Semi, you could still get 1 million miles before needing to service the battery. I agree it would still be better to have the long form because you would want it to hopefully last over 1 million. But I think there's still a chance they might use the old battery cells with the Semi, but not sure.
Maybe, okay, going off, maybe, I don't like that, but maybe, what if they're moving all of the consumer vehicles to the new million-mile packs, and just the leftovers of the old batteries they're thrown into the Semi?
There you go. Oh, that's an interesting theory. I saw some people bring that up too. Yeah, because you could, if you're adopting the new battery chemistry for your mainstream vehicles like the 3 or the Y, then that kind of frees up assembly lines for the Semi. You're right. That might be cheaper too, because we already have the infrastructure for it. So Giga Nevada is already accustomed to building those battery packs. But now that they don't have to ship any battery packs to Giga Shanghai anymore, because all the batteries are being built in China. So yeah, maybe they will put the old batteries in the Semi.
It would be kind of sad, though, but...
Yeah, I mean, it will still last a long time with very little degradation as the packs are so huge. So, like it's Model S degradation times 5 times 8, or kind of like that. But I'm sure it's a little different when you've got giant payloads on the back. But yeah, I hope I hope we, for one, get a date for Battery Investor Day, but also the Tesla Supercharger team starts. I mean, it must make the most amount of sense for them to work with the biggest reservation holders and figure out where their routes are and build them based on that, right? They're probably not going to do what they did with superchargers, and they're just like, let's just put them everywhere,
So I think it kind of depends on how the charging mechanism is going to work on the Semi, because if it only and exclusively can charge on a mega charger, then they need to have gotten on that like last week, because even if they do work with Walmart and figure out their 3 biggest routes and make sure there are enough mega chargers, like it's not gonna, other companies aren't gonna buy it until their routes have mega chargers, right?
Right.
So I would kind of hope at least that mega charging is the default option, but just like you can plug it into a wall and take forever with the Model 3, you could also plug a Semi into a regular supercharger. No,
Oh
Randy.
my God. No, just the thought is like 27 years later. Hey, I went up I went up a
I was
percent.
just thinking, charging the Semi with a 110. Oh my God. Can you imagine how slow that would be? It would be like a mile
A year.
a day.
No, it's even less. I feel like that is so sad.
Well,
Hey, it
from what
still
I
depletes
read and
battery.
from the charge port, a few people
battery's still-
snapped a photo of the charge port. They were saying that it would be compatible with the Tesla charger, because someone has spotted even a Semi charging at a supercharger.
So
once.
they were in like some engineering stuff. Like I remember
Yeah.
in November there were some pictures of the Semis charging at regular superchargers, but they had to take up like 4 stalls. And
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that
that's
all
the
was
real
supposed to
reason.
change. That was all supposed to change.
Yeah, I don't think Tesla really should care that much. I mean, making the port the same as the Model 3 and the Y for the sake of, simplicity is fine. But I mean, I don't think they really want to advertise Tesla superchargers as semi-chargers because they would take up so much room and they're such a large vehicle that it would make more sense to... Well, they said in an update letter that they sent to all their reservation holders that they're working with a charging company, some kind of... They're working on some standard for high-powered EVs, like higher power than typical, like not just your DC fast charging, but bigger than that. And they want to come up with a standard so that we don't run into this whole, charging standard
Format
versus
war.
Tesla's charging
Yeah.
standard. You don't want all these different ports. So I think they're still finalizing that because obviously mega chargers have to charge insanely high power speeds, much higher than superchargers. But seeing how aggressive the supercharger team is with implementing stuff, I bet it could happen really fast if they wanted it to. Like if they wanted to roll out mega chargers, they could do it quick.
Could you charge a Model 3 off of a mega charger eventually?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be so
Because
nice.
the mega charge plugs will be big. They'll be like wide.
Get an adapter. Gosh, I want this. Plug in, fill up in
I
30
think
seconds.
I mean, the Model 3 is still limited to 250 kilowatts either
Yeah.
way, so it can't really do much than that. But
5
yeah, they'll
years
have
down
to
the road.
design them to be more like, because the Semi has to be able to drive through,
Yep.
not just back into a
Yep.
space. So they have to be laid out a little differently. But man, I hope the timeline is for real. I hope it's like early 2021. That would be awesome.
I went.
And we'll just
Non-
have-
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Finish your thought.
But besides
Then we'll just have Cybertruck and Roadster, and then we're all done.
exactly, yeah.
I went down a rabbit hole this week, one that I've been trying to avoid since it happened, since
Uh-oh.
it came out. I started binging a lot of Model Ys videos.
Oh.
Ooh. Hello, Ryan.
tell.
How are you?
Gossip.
I have the bug.
Oh,
So,
just because
hold
of
on.
USB-C. That's the only reason.
maniacal laugh.
I want to preface by saying I haven't seen a Model Y in person yet. However, a YouTube
neither.
channel that I watch is it's a smaller channel, but it's a channel that is the company that I went to for the wrap, and I know the owner because he was the one helping me with everything, and he does YouTube as well. So I was watching him, and he was talking about how he was applying a clear coat to the multi-white, the multi-coated white, and he's like, "Here's how and he's just showing his channel is more about like, let me show you how in depth we get about the wraps, and I'm like,
Right.
that's art within itself, how clean it is. But so he was going over, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a nice, good-looking car, and so then that told the algorithm, oh, you watched the whole video to completion. Let me throw you another one. And so then I just spun out very quick. And for the last 72 hours, I have been nonstop watching. When I put it on, it's like the first recommendations of Model Y. Click. I start watching it. Let me tell you.
So what's it about for you? Is it the design? Is it just the fact that it's newer, or the roof, or the cargo, or what is it? What's standing out?
Power trunk
Yeah.
is the very first thing I had to hatch back. You could drop the seats.
Oh yeah.
It's
just the
so-
little levers.
It's so versatile, and I'm just like, don't do it, Randy. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Like the only thing I ever
You
wanted
own your
my
car
Model.
outright, Randy.
I know,
Don't
I know.
do it.
I know. I love it. I love how sleek the Model 3 is. But all of the things I love about the Model 3 come with the Model Y interior, and it has USB-C. It does have USB-C.
Which the Model 3 now has.
yes.
Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Yep.
Every Model 3 after June 4th comes with wireless charging and USB-C built in now.
And
Man,
I'm
those
like, oh
poor
my-
suckers who took delivery on June 3rd.
There's at least one.
I'm gonna look into what's gonna cost for me to swap out some of the stuff, and I think I might just upgrade that way. It's cheaper than buying a Model Y. So,
Oh yeah, a little bit.
just a little bit.
little.
I crunched the numbers, and I think I might break even, but so
Maybe if
couple
you wait
dollars.
on standard range.
the just the wheels, the side, the automatic matte black
Well,
trimming.
you got it bad,
Oh, yeah.
Randy. You got it
Oh,
bad.
I was drooling. All of us. And here's the thing. I just played fantasy in my head for a second. I mean, if I did get a Model Y, what kind would I get? I wouldn't wrap it. I would most likely get. I'd probably get. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud because I'm making it real. I haven't said it out loud yet. It's like, the red one looks so nice with the white interior, or maybe even get the. And I was, and then I go on the side like, what would that run me if I got the long? Ooh, okay,
what would that run me?
But if I leased it just as a long-term toy, I mean, hey, I get the bug. My wife can have it until the truck comes out. I was trying to time it. It's like, well, by the time the lease is up, she could get her truck, and I don't mind leasing at that point, knowing it's just a. So I start
I
running.
think we need a video.
Yeah,
We need a
I think
Tesla
we need a
experience
Tesla
video on the
experience
subject.
I'm telling you, I was sitting there, and then I'm like, what if my channel does blow up and it pays for itself? Then I'm obligated. I have to get. But honestly, just looking at it, I'm like, the panoramic is like, I'll never be back there and look at it. Since I've been doing the videos again, and I'm doing them in my car. So yeah, I got Tesla videos out, people. I look and I'm like, yeah, that's short-lived. Like it's cool, but I'd get over it so quick. But the idea of the headspace that's so tall, I have so much room in the Model 3, and I would have that much more in a Y, where it's like, wow, I don't feel claustrophobic at all.
Yeah.
The
Nick
bug
would still be like this.
the bug hit me hard, and I knew it's like I'm not gonna watch videos because it's gonna happen. And then just because the channel that did my rap did their thing, I was like. This week I'm having withdrawals. I'm like, I don't need it.
I am so scared that's going to happen when I buy my Cybertruck.
Oh my
Very
goodness, guys.
dangerous.
So all I'm gonna say is that if I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't change it. However, if this was Randy today, I would not have picked the Model 3.
What?
Wow.
You just said two.
No.
Totally different
Back then,
things.
if let's say,
back in if you got to go back in time to where you were, you would have still got the 3.
nothing would have changed. However, if circumstances prevented me from getting the car last year, Model Y,
And you had to buy today.
and I had to buy today, I would get the Model Y for the hatchback, which I love hatchbacks more. Hatchback,
Okay.
power lifting, dropping the seats. It's just versatile because, again, like long-term car, I could just see more utility with having a family and stuff like that, just needing that space. I think about times I want to go
Sure.
buy something at the store, and I can't fit it in my car, so we have to take my wife's hatchback Yaris, which
Does that happen?
it has
Quite a
happened.
bit?
It's happened 4 times
Wow.
because with her business being a barber, she needed to get certain like industrial size things,
Oh.
a barber chair.
Right.
She needs all these things
Yeah.
and they don't fit in my car. And we wish, it's like, I wish we could put it in there, but there's no way. I bought a bike January 1st. It did not fit in my car. And I tried putting it in the trunk. It didn't fit, so I rode the bike home from Walmart to home, which
Oh,
was about
geez.
2-3 miles. So I was like,
And
all
you
right,
just
well,
told
that's
your
it.
app to drive your car home for you.
Yeah.
No, that was the one time I think I let my brother drive the car or something. I don't remember. But anyway, the point is that there's more versatility and there's more convenience as a utility
You
vehicle.
don't need it until you do.
You don't need it until you do. And when you need it, like, my gosh, do you wish you had it? And
Yeah.
I think about the stuff that I want, like buying a new desk and just fixing my office, for example. I know I'm limited with my car, which is why it's like I have to have it delivered. And
But your wife is going to have a Cybertruck.
I need stuff today, Nick.
Cybertruck's still out there, but you're not missing out on everything, because if you've been watching Ryan Shaw's videos on the Model Y,
I
he
love
has
it.
got
Yeah.
quite a bunch of quality control problems in
I
his.
saw that video.
Yeah, and his is still having issues if you follow him on Twitter with the frunk thinking it's open when it isn't, so he can't even use autopilot. And he said basically that he hates driving it now for that. So I can only imagine how I would feel spending that much money on a car and then having that kind of crappy first month with it. I would be frustrated beyond belief. So there's not you don't lose everything by waiting. Waiting for Tesla to pick up on the quality control problems, iron things out, figure out where they need to redesign things for the assembly line, and hopefully have them fixed up as soon as possible. But yeah, I don't envy that experience at all.
I'll
So
tell you this.
there is early adopter tax, basically.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. If I, knock on wood, I'm not even going to finish the sentence because I don't want to jinx it, but if something were to happen my next car would be the Model Y.
You wouldn't go back to a 3
No.
if your 3 was totaled?
I'm not saying that because I'm not jinxing it. I'm just saying if something were to happen.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying if something were to happen, my next car in the immediate return would be a Model Y. I wouldn't wrap it. It just now because the things that I've learned. Here's a sneak peek about my year review. Things that I've learned is that some things are still very important with function over form, and I realize I'm lacking certain functions even with the Model 3, and I think the Model Y is a perfect in between for that without having to get an X or a truck if you don't want a truck.
Oh yeah.
With
No,
that.
X is off the table in my opinion.
Yeah, but the thing about the X had going for it for a long time was its size inside the cabin space was amazing.
True.
And I'm like, yeah, there is a need for that, and the Y just took that away, and the truck is going to take that away. Let me rephrase the
Even
thing.
if you were like really close to the Cybertruck launch, you would still get a Y.
That's what I say. Rephrasing: if something were to happen 2 to 3 years from now, the truck. There are certain utility.
Would you guys
that-
ever want 2 Cybertrucks?
There's no need.
Or do you think one's enough?
One's enough.
If you had one, that would be enough.
I could see a thing where we would swap, like, hey, here's the key, here's that, like we'll just swap, and like if I'm gonna take the truck today and you can use it for
A
this.
key?
Yeah.
What's a key, Randy?
A key
It
card,
still has a key, technically.
technically.
It's just
phone.
not. It doesn't look like a key.
It fits in my channel sponsored Ridge wallet. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, they should though.
They
Come
should.
on.
Rich.
But here's a question for you. Let's say something, heaven forbid, happens to the Model 3 post Cybertruck delivery. Then what do you do?
I
Does your
feel
wife already have one or not?
the truck. Yes.
This situation is you have the Cybertruck
Okay,
already.
you already have
you
the
have the Cybertruck and the 3. Something happens to the 3.
I would assume that my my insurance return will be lower than the amount I would use that. Why?
He'd buy
I'd get
a
the Y.
2018
You'd get a
Toyota
I'd get a Y.
Tacoma.
I would get a Y because at
Did
that
you get a long range Y?
if we have the tri-motor Cybertruck, maybe not, because the truck would become the new travel vehicle.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Standard range plus
So-
or standard whatever they're calling it would probably be. I would treat if in that scenario you gave me, I would treat the Y or whatever it would be the secondary vehicle. So that's the one where I'm not putting money into it. I would even look at maybe buying a used one at that point too, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I would too if I were you. If it
Because-
wasn't like the primary car,
Exactly.
you know, like the truck would be used for most things, and you just need a secondary one for when your wife's using it or one of you's using it.
Right.
Then yeah,
I would treat the
get
Y.
Find a used Model S.
Oh no, that's too tacky for me.
You could get real cheap. Used
It's-
Model S's are cheaper than used Model 3s, ironically.
That's funny, but I
Wow.
get it. I
They're
think
older, though. Yeah.
the Model
They are
Y
much
for
older.
me, getting a used Model Y comes then if they stick to the thing they've been doing, comes with full self driving and also and it being used. Like I personally don't see the need to buy another new Tesla. I got that out of my system.
Gotcha.
It's a beautiful experience. 10 out of
You
10.
went through it. Yeah.
10 out of 10 would recommend. I know if it happens again, I'm all for it. There's no longer a need for it. I would buy a used, and if anything were to happen to my baby, my Phoenix, I would buy a used one in that scenario, and get a used Model Y, and it have full self-driving, and it's okay if it has little blemishes. I'm indifferent. I'm partial to it because now it is now the secondary vehicle. If
Right,
if
right.
it's before Cybertruck, the Model Y would. I think it would be a new vehicle at that point, so I wouldn't buy used. It'd be probably hard to come by one. So in that scenario,
I still haven't found one.
I'm
by
sure
the way.
Ryan will be
I've been
selling his
looking.
after he gets super frustrated with it. like,
Yeah,
this
I-
thing doesn't latch right still.
so I
No,
feel
he
like
said actually he won't get rid of it.
yeah,
Okay,
quality
right.
control will fix it. He'll take it in and get it serviced and eventually. And
Model 3 had the same things when it
For
first
sure.
came out too.
For
It's
sure.
just it's sad to hear that with the second, not second, but fourth Tesla to come out, they still have the like
And
phase one issues.
That just makes me even more worried about getting a Cybertruck on day one.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes me more excited to wait.
Exactly. Me
So
too.
I'll be okay. You know, we talked about that a few weeks ago. I mean, to me, like, if your logic is you want to wait for the one you want exactly, and you're willing to wait as long as possible, then I would wait for the standard range Cybertruck, which is even further away, which is a long time. That's a long time, and I'm having gone through this year copyright strikes and the uncertainty of careers and how we don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to just
For sure.
assume that whatever my job is now or whatever my income is now will be unchanged for years and years.
Until Spotify makes the Tesla or EV podcast an offer exclusive, and then
Yeah.
multi-year contract.
Then we'll be set.
Only
No
$100
question.
million, Spotify. We're pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little bit
But
cheaper
you're
than
right.
Joe Rogan.
You're right, Drew. I think the uncertainty.
A lot could happen in 3 years.
I think
4 years.
about. I'd be lying to you. I'd be lying to the audience if I tell you that I don't have a certain anxiety about the fact that, like, everything paid off and all. I have a certain level of fear with my line of work right now, with working for the government as my full-time. That's
Yeah.
As a contractor, you have limits, and so knowing I'll be out of work in 2 years, for at least that's for certain. Whether I get picked up, that's a whole nother conversation. But it's like, you really, when you're in that situation, and like likewise losing your channel or your network almost, you really have to evaluate what the dollar is worth to you about putting towards a vehicle if you don't really need it. And I would be lying to you guys if I told you that sometimes I go, I screwed up. I don't think I should have done it right now. And it's me trying to live in the moment, and I'm happy for what I did, but we're adults. We have responsibilities, and those obligations do supersede anything else. And I don't want to compromise my family, and I don't want to compromise my life
Right,
and
yeah.
my lifestyle, in a sense where because I went ahead and bought the Model 3, and that it will always be in the back of my mind. And the only reason why I pulled the trigger even then, and I stick to it now, is I think who I am as a person, as a tech enthusiast, and now a Tesla owner, I will always have that. Every time I shouldn't buy $1,000 phone every year. Like, I always have that in the back of my head. And Drew, I know you're the same way. Like, I really believe in not leasing or loan, like, buy outright if you can.
It's
This
so
is a
tempting, I've seen
It's
that
so
argument made of,
expensive.
like, why not just lease a 3 until the truck, and that way you have something while you're waiting. But
It's
No,
still
it's-
so expensive, and it's not a good use of your
Yeah.
money, to be honest.
right, and it's
it-
like so much money goes to nothing because you own nothing by the end of it. And in my situation, seeing how YouTube has been in the past, it's like I am going to plan that every paycheck is my last. That's how I'm going to
100%.
live my
That's-
career, is knowing that YouTube could change some policy or instigate some new change in their rules, and all of a sudden you have nothing. That's how I'm going to plan. That's how we're going to budget. We're just going to assume everything could fall through at any moment, so we're not
sure.
going to commit ourselves to any expense. That's why we prioritize the house, not the car.
I 100%,
Because that's far more important. So if we are in a position where we're comfortable buying the car, it will be because we can buy it then and there, and then it'll be ours the day after we sign the paperwork, and no one can take it away. Like, there's no financial commitment long term other than insurance, basically.
My own personal strategy going forward for me with buying a big purchase like that, same thing, right there in cash. I'll never do another loan ever again, an auto loan.
Even on a Y.
Not even on a Y. That I will never
Of
do
course.
another loan. That was my last, like, I'll never do it again. I don't like it. That's just my preference. So for me, being that same, like, I treat every paycheck like it's my last. You don't know. Quarantine for me is what affected my possible, like, oh wow, mistakes were made. Because now I'm saying, why did I get the long range? Why did I do this? Like, I have responsibilities here, and my family needs to be taken care. Like, I had those moments I should not got the Tesla if, now we're in lockdown. I had all those things. So for me, same thing, Model Y or whatever, I will not buy another big purchase like that until I could do it right there up front. And I got like a year's worth of savings to live off of as my fail-safe. And then if I'm still screwed by then I have bigger problems to deal with anyway,
Yeah, that's our number 2 year of savings.
Yeah.
But you know what we should do when we do our meetup next month?
We should compare bank
What?
accounts and finances.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should do a Model Y test drive. We should try to schedule
Yes,
one.
please, yes.
Did
If
we
they're
talk
open,
about
right? Do they
this?
still have?
I think we did, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing Model Y test drives yet.
Because that was
So-
something I was going to try to surprise you guys about.
okay.
Because being right here over
I will
at
be very surprised.
the
Oh yeah, I'll be.
the
If you want to schedule it for us,
What?
But the thing is, the Fashion Valley Mall is our closest center for a Tesla store, and it's also the biggest one. They have been historically pretty spot on about whatever the newest thing was out, having it out and ready to test drive relatively very quick. And I think I haven't gone to look yet. I haven't been at the mall, but
Yeah. I've seen on websites and publishings that Model Ys are slowly coming into showrooms and stuff. I just saw a tweet of one. Different showrooms. They're really careful with them. They have like tape around them and stuff. Like they don't let you touch them. That one's at Vancouver, so that one's even in Canada. So I feel like as time goes on, by the time we meet up, they might have test drives ready or something. Maybe you'll have to contact that showroom. Like
I'll find out. It'd be really
several
weird
weeks.
if they didn't, because this is such a major city and there's a
You're
lot
right,
of
yeah.
and the clientele is very big out here. If the same people are still working there who got me my Model 3, like those guys are really great. They told me, they're like, I watched the channel and I know you do the podcast. Like they're fans of the show. So guys,
That's cool.
hey, content.
Hey,
Do you want to be in a
Also,
video?
Cybertruck test drives anytime you want.
Hey.
oh my God, those
They're
would be
very
insane.
Tesla is very much like Apple in the sense that the employees are just like us, where they're like, I don't know,
I don't know. Yeah.
they find it
I tried
frustrating.
that too. I was trying to do my video on the standard range Model Y, and before I made it, I was like, I should ask first just to see if they'll say anything. And I was like, so I saw standard range production is supposed to begin early next year. Do you know how much that'll be? And they were like, we have no idea.
Yeah.
They haven't told us anything.
We're just like
Elon
you.
So-
hasn't tweeted about it yet.
Exactly. They're all waiting for Elon's tweet anyway. But seeing the base price listed on the sticker at 41K makes me think that's most likely. But I know we've talked about it in the past. I just want updated thoughts since that's common knowledge now. Like we have the proof.
This week's
Do you think they will
segment
do-
of What is Drew Thinking About, Model Y or Model 3?
It hasn't changed since
Sure.
the last 5 weeks. But do you guys think they will do a standard range plus or a standard range, or how do you think it'll go?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I wasn't really listening. What was the question?
I'll answer it and you'll know
Will
my...
they do like the Model 3 when they did mid range and then SR plus and then SR, or will it just
Okay.
be SR?
I think it's just SR.
Okay, that's what I think too.
I feel.
I don't think
I'm gonna
they'll
be
need to
different
do-
and say they're gonna do mid range and then work their way down, because there's still business. Like if they can hold off, like the profit margins on a $40,000 Model Y and a $50,000 Model Y are more than the percentage difference of the price. Like they're making a lot more
Right.
profit on the $50,000 one than they are on the $40,000. So they're gonna want to have people wait as long as they can, because they know there's a good percentage of people who are impulsive like me and will buy it and not wait for the cheap one, and thus give them that much more profit, which
Right.
is good because
But
Tesla needs
knowing-
all of the money.
But if they say standard range begins early 2021, do you think that's on schedule, or do you think that'll be delayed?
I think it's on schedule.
think
If
so
it's
too.
not ahead of
Okay.
schedule, like
So, well, that's my question though. Is like, do you think they will do
I think
a
as soon
standard,
as
just a flat standard range come early 2021, or will they start with standard range plus and then maybe summer next year they'll do standard range actual?
No, I think right now the constraint is the quality. I don't think they have parts as much part constraint as they did. They don't have manufacturing constraint. They have everything they need really. It just seems like with Elon's tweet that he's on the line helping out with that. Like that needs to be fixed before they start making more models available. So I would imagine
Well,
after
sure.
we get pretty
Yeah.
good quality out of them, that's when they'll start moving in, possibly this fall, into the mid-range, and then in the spring into the standard range.
I don't think there's going to be a standard range plus because, and I think we talked about it before. Like, I think they're just going to phase that out as a whole. I think that was more to
Cushion the Model 3's
Yeah,
unexpected expenses.
That was them exactly. That was them trying to stick to their promise about making a $30,000 car, and then they're like, "Well, we have all this stuff. We're gonna make a in between." And I think that's why they haven't said certain things like that since then, because I think they realized like, okay, that was a bit of a mess, and that's why they don't really promote it. I think Standard Range Plus, the name. Well, the branding will phase out, and the 41,000 Model Y is the standard range, the SR. You got standard range, long range, performance. Everything's standard, long, performance. Standard, long, performance.
And then you also think the price of SR Plus will go down?
I do.
Or they'll eliminate it and bring back standard range to the website?
I think the price will go down by they'll eliminate it, and I think because this is where I have to remember like car manufacturer, tech company. Tech gets cheaper over time. You'll lower the price to what you really wanted your Model 3 to be. Standard range, ladies and gentlemen, and this standard range, the 2021 version, has the premium connectivity with the better sound system, the subwoofers,
The autopilot.
the whole thing. Tech is getting cheaper, and we offset the cost by increasing the price of full self-driving.
So that would probably uptick some Model 3 demand, but you kind of have to if Model Y is getting that much cheaper, because I think, at least, I know Nick wants Cybertruck, but me and Randy agree Model Y is the best Tesla basically available right
You're
now.
wrong. You're wrong.
Overall, is there a better one available, Nick?
The Cybertruck.
Not available.
Yes, it is. Jay Leno drove it. If Jay Leno drove it, then it's available.
Well,
So,
actually,
in
no. Quite
regards
frankly,
to-
that's preposterous. You're wrong.
Well, yes.
Well,
The
yes.
cargo space, the hatchback, the glass roof, like the design, like basically best overall package. If that starts becoming available $12,000 less than it's available right now, then that's going to sell like crazy. Yeah.
But if the future of vehicles that looks like it just drove off a movie set or the planet Mars is available at only $40,000.
Not now. Not next year.
Hey, random thought here.
so bad.
I got a question, and it's only because it's a bit time sensitive. Not to the episode, but to the date. I'm about to hit my year mark with the car, which means I'm about to get charged for the premium connectivity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh,
I have yet. I've used it as bells and whistles as a show off, flexing feature.
Wait,
I don't
hold
really
on, hold
use
on.
it. I don't use it.
What is included in this premium connectivity?
Satellite imagery, web browser on cellular, music streaming built in, and karaoke, I think.
Karaoke.
That's most of it.
And traffic data.
Traffic data.
Traffic data.
The showing up on the map. It will still navigate.
But you won't
but
see
yeah.
the red lines or the whatever.
Right.
So, here, let me
Video streaming on cellular. That's a big one.
video streaming on cellular. Yeah. So
You can watch YouTube and Netflix on the go.
right. So here's my thought on that. The UI is the OS as a whole is still pretty terrible. Like quite
Garbage.
Quite frankly, people, it's the worst UI I've ever used, and I think it needs some polishing up, and they know. Every time I get updates, they're addressing like fixes and bugs and tweaks, better theater mode, blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I use the satellite, but that's just because that's the standard at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
My just because my nighttime goes into dark mode, it uses the dark regular map
Right.
with all the data that's on there. There is nothing exclusive or proprietary to my display that I can't get off my phone or that I don't really use off my phone. I don't use Spotify like that. I don't do karaoke. I don't stream anything at a park. Everything's always on the phone. It's not buggy. It renders
Yeah.
quicker. and it's there. The only thing that I do use now is the traffic data on satellite mode, but that's just by design. I like to pinch in and look at things, but realistically, all that stuff, Apple Maps has it better, and I would use that if I really needed to know. And when I set my destination and it goes, it's already routing the best route. Whether I need to see the traffic or not is irrelevant to me. It's not going to, if there's traffic right now, that's not going to change my decision of like, I need to get on the road right now. Like I know my city better than the satellite does. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for $10 a month, I don't stream. I don't use Spotify. And even if I did and I tried it with a friend's account, Spotify sucks. It's not a good UI.
I've heard that.
But
as
the
well.
Talos of podcasts are available on Spotify, so we can't completely say it's terrible. And Spotify might be buying us for $50 million.
Spotify, the service is great. Spotify on Tesla, the UI is crap.
The implementation is not good.
It's so bad, and there's no Apple Music, so there is a bias there, right? And that's my primary one. I would like to. I listen to books or podcasts anyway, and there's no dedicated button. I don't need it. And even if there was, it's not worth $10 when I can already Bluetooth my phone to it. My phone is the media device for all things already.
Right.
And that has not changed since before Tesla. So I don't think I need to pay $10 a month. Maybe in certain situations I'll pay for the month if I know there's a trip or something. I'm thinking about canceling. I don't want to pay extra for it. I don't want a service for it.
It's auto canceling anyway. You're just saying you don't want to keep paying for it to retain the features it offers now.
Not today. Not in today's iteration.
So maybe if they updated it to be smoother, you mean? Like if it was less buggy or glitchy as it is currently?
And more data. They barely implemented different charging stations, which I actually find useful, and I do use that function outside of superchargers.
Yeah.
But rumors of not rumors. Concepts of how they show how you can better utilize the screen with all that information, and it's like kind of multi-window, but not really. When we start getting to that point, I'll consider it. But more importantly than anything else, fluidity. Sometimes it's just it's too glitchy when I try to swipe up or down. I could put my address in there or the address that I need to get to, and I got my phone for all things. It does not change my full self-driving. It doesn't change the display that I use. And when I'm looking at the screen, I look at the traffic that's on my left side anyway over the map. I know San Diego blindfolded. I don't need that feature. I think it's only useful when you're doing long travel. Then at that point, maybe I'll pay for that month or something. But I just don't. I
think I'd be with you there. Like it's not even a factor. Like for me. In comparing like a standard range versus a long range, I don't see like the year as premium connectivity as being a good incentive, because I believe you might want to try this actually. I believe people without premium connectivity can hotspot off their phone and get a lot of that functionality back. I'm not sure if it all comes back, but
hotspot make that the dedicated Wi-Fi.
Yeah, even when you're driving, like even when you're on the go, like have the car connect to the phone's Wi-Fi and
I'm making a note.
Download everything.
I will forget if I don't make a note.
Yeah, do a video on that, because I haven't seen enough people talk about it. I think I've seen a few people on Twitter say you can just tether from the phone, and if you have decent data plans, then why bother with an extra $10 a month? Because I'm with you that if there was like a big trip coming up, okay, sure, I'll pay $10 for the month. But for just daily driving habits,
you're paying more in the supercharging anyway if you're doing a big trip, because you're at least going to go $12, $15 to $20 anyway. So you're paying more for the charging. I could do $10 for a whole month at that point, but those will be the exception and not the rule. I just don't understand. In my opinion, I don't understand the need for all that data in your local, wherever you live, because you know that stuff anyway. And many times when Tesla tells me to do something, I actually went against the route it gave me because I knew a quicker way. Like when I was doing the test about the battery, and I was going to maybe not make it, I took a different way, and then it gave me back all these extra miles and stuff. I'm like, yep, I knew it, because I know the city better than the map does. The map is just going strictly off of the algorithm of what the traffic data is saying, and that's not always accurate. There's more to the equation of it. So it's just something I've been thinking about.
So do you think is premium connectivity an issue with the price point or the features? Like if it was $3 a month, you wouldn't do it?
No. Features. It's a feature thing.
Gotcha.
The fluidity is terrible, so the UI as a whole is really buggy, and the features are a bit janky and just missing some stuff.
Can you add it later, or do you have to renew now?
It's a monthly subscription.
No, you can do. Yeah, you can
Okay.
do it just a random month of the year if you want to. Just July. That's it. You could do that.
Yeah. So
That's how I do it.
Wait, when you guys come, I don't know if it's turn of the month or 30 days from the day you initiate it. I'm considering maybe
yeah.
having it. I'm considering having it for when you guys are here, just so you can see the features on the go. And that's like $10. Like, all right, that's fine. I can do that.
Honestly, I'd be more curious to see it without the features because I've all the Teslas I've been in have had that that experience, the map with the traffic data and stuff. I'd be more curious to see what it is like without it. Like, I don't know.
It's kind of cleaner.
Does that make sense?
I like the gray clean. Like, but I'm a person who likes looking at the Apple Maps that doesn't do satellite. I like how
Yeah,
clean
me
it
too.
looks.
Yeah.
In my
It's
opinion,
more minimal.
yeah, I love it. It's the
Fits in
aesthetic
with
of
the
it
car.
for sure.
Yeah.
I do like it, and I don't
It's
even
cool
think
that's
about
an
it. Like,
option though.
it is an yeah. I hope the next big update, like how they really focused on that one major with all the redesigns. The next big update
V10.
is strictly
Yeah.
for UI purposes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely probably not where their focus is because I've seen a lot of updates about autopilot and
Yeah.
stuff for that getting ready. I saw a leak recently that they're working on roundabout support now.
I saw
and they're
that too.
finding code that showcases the roundabout sign, and they're going to start reading the speed limit sign now and applying that for all vehicles. That's really cool. So I think that's where their focus is. They're
Rightfully
probably not
so.
Too concerned.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's the problem. I paid $7,000 or $6,000 or whatever for this. That's your priority every day of the week, not a $10 a month charge. I just wish that it's not forgotten. Don't dismiss it because a lot of people do like it and would like to see the improvement of it. Obviously, make full self-driving the number one priority as it should be, and make just consistency and fix any bugs throughout the time. Absolutely, but just don't forget the bread and butter, the bells and whistles, the stuff that you like to flirt
Right.
and tease with. Hey, let me put the campfire on. Here's this. Oh, here's that. Like it's nice. It's nice stuff. Like it'd be really
Art
nice.
mode.
Yeah, little things like keep its personality.
The issue with that right now, and the reason it's probably not ironed out or not being prioritized, as you said, is because it's so exclusive and unique to them right now that it's kind of hard to complain about because no one else is offering it. So you can't really say YouTube runs much better on the Ford Mach-E because it's not a thing.
It's turned
So-
this way, and there's a circle in the middle.
Yeah. It's kind of infuriating. Like, I would be mad spending that much money on a car, and then when you try to use YouTube, it like can't stay fluid and it can't register your touch interface. But at the same time, it's like, well, screw this. I'm going to buy another car that doesn't do that at all. It's like, no, that doesn't work. And that's kind of what I've seen with people with quality control issues like Ryan. Like, he's had so many problems with his car that he's very mad about, but at the same time, you won't get a better experience if you just get rid of that car and go buy some other EV.
Right.
It's not going to have better tech. It's not going to have better autopilot. It may be more consistent, but it'll be consistent because it doesn't do as much, because it's like speed, range, music. That's
Right.
it.
But that does not dismiss the fact that it shouldn't be worked on, even though like, oh, you're gonna go find
Oh,
somewhere
yeah.
else. Like, obviously not, but these are valid issues. These are valid complaints.
Sure.
I wouldn't say they're issues. They're complaints.
It's on the list of things they need to work on, but not high. It's on the
No, I
iron out
again,
the bells and whistles.
Fix get full self driving as quickly as possible because that's your selling point. Not how quick you can load Hulu. You know, nobody cares about
Right.
that.
But that's nice too, though.
It is nice. There is because some people don't care about full self driving, and there is a like I like the car. I like how clean it is. I don't trust it. I will always be the person who drives with my hands. Cool, and like just fix my internal stuff.
Go get a Ford.
Tesla doesn't seem like a great option for people who love to drive with their hands.
But it's so much
There's
fun.
tech companies
as Elon
Yeah.
said, he's like, but sometimes it's like it's unfortunate that full self driving is a thing because like it's fun to drive it, and he's right. I do have more fun going
Yeah.
like full self
As he
driving.
makes a car motor sound.
I went no, I did the battery. That's what it does. You hear it
Sounds
go.
like the Bat Pod from The Dark Knight. Because the Bat Pod from The Dark Knight is actually a Tesla motor. Fun fact.
What? No way.
That's why it sounds so cool. And the Tesla Semi sounds like that too. When that video of it accelerating off, it makes you never hear a semi sound that cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm upset we still haven't got announcements, and I bring this up every week. But the semi thing was the closest thing to
Yes.
a big
Official.
milestone announcement. We definitely know more than we did before.
Yeah.
That it is time
Two
for
times
volume
zero is
production.
still zero, though.
Probably says something about battery supply and or battery technology that's going on behind the scenes, but something, did you guys look through the impact report at all?
I saw him tweet it, but I didn't have a lot of time whenever he tweeted it, and I've forgotten about it until just now.
It's pretty fascinating
Same.
when you dive into the details.
I go, oh hey, I'll look
mean,
at that later. Later. Wait, what?
Yeah. you guys were convinced already that you didn't need to be convinced that they're good for the environment, but
I've watched
that-
Hamsters
that-
with Joe. I know how efficient electric vehicles are.
that report broke down a lot of the misconceptions, which I thought was really cool to see, because it's fascinating when you see like the power generated from Tesla solar outweighs all of the power consumed by the vehicles. And in that sense, it really kind of amazes me that a company can find a way. Okay, here. All right, we're going to go into a bigger topic here.
Yes.
Hold on, like,
Yes.
Get comfortable, people.
Bonus
Get your
time, folks.
delicious
Bonus time.
popcorn. Fantastic. So there's a lot of Tesla sheep out there. There's people that will blindly defend them. We know they're out there that will say they're a perfect company, nothing's wrong
Hey,
with
you
that.
take that back.
Even people like Ryan, who have had poor experiences with quality control, people will get mad at him for saying he's being too hard on Tesla. That's not right. But what I will say is the reason there are so many sheep and the reason there are so many people that defend them blindly is because if you look through that impact report, you will find something that not any company can do. Tesla's doing like 5 impossible things simultaneously, basically. They're doing like, okay, start a company. That in itself, we have to acknowledge not everyone can do. Create a company that becomes worth billions of dollars. Anyone who can do that, not hard to do. Second, only sell electric cars. Very, very difficult to make electric cars compelling, cool, desirable to get people who aren't
Selling
even car
or
people
shipping,
into them.
because Ludicrous Future is pretty cool.
Yeah. Selling, not just making cool electric cars, but also mass producing them. That's the next thing. Mass production of electric vehicles, because lots of companies have made cool prototypes, but
Rivian.
actually being able to mass produce them.
Sorry.
Some companies can't
Tesla
even
sheep
make
in my
prototypes. Nikola. But at least Rivian has a prototype. Fourth, starting a car company at all. Making a car company, like how often can car companies that are startups succeed? It's incredibly rare, super difficult to do. And fifth, turning a profit off of all these things, making something desirable, and throughout this impact report, find out trying to do it ethically, trying to find ways to mine all of your minerals that you need for your equipment and batteries in a way that every single, like from the ground coming out of the earth, being implemented into a car, it's done in the most ethical way possible. And that's very difficult when they use cobalt. So Tesla's working really, really hard to minimize their cobalt usage. And as we're hearing now, work on batteries that do not require them at all. So trying to find a way to, do things ethically, make a factory that produces products people like, change the industry, retain profits, and also be working on solar to the point that you are not introducing so many more electric cars on the road that you are increasing power consumption of humanity. In fact, you have generated more power than you have used, despite millions of cars on the road, and making your factories eco-friendly and have less emissions than you produce. So many incredible things going on at the same time. That's why I think there is such a sheepish instant defense argument, because there's a lot of issues with Tesla, and I think most reasonable people would believe that there are things they are bad at. There are things that, like older cars, how they handle salvage Teslas, not being able to supercharge and things like that, how they handled the Roadster and not being able to service those vehicles. There's a bunch of stuff they need to work on and that they're not handling well. But the stuff they're getting right is darn near impossible. Basically, how can they even do this? Like, I have a lot of doubts. I brought them up earlier about Nikola, just because of how much they promise versus how much they're actively doing, and a lot of the numbers and stuff.
We have a very special announcement. The Tailosive Podcast gang is announcing a brand new electric vehicle. It's called the Edison. It will look like this.
We just steal the ideas of other people.
You can reserve it for $10,000 right now.
No,
it's shipping.
It will give you $10 to reserve it. You can put our market cap really high based on those reservations. But to speak more like seriously on that, Tesla had a lot of those doubters too. There were a lot of people that in their beginning really did not believe their vision. Really didn't. It's not possible for you to make practical electric cars, make them desirable, mass produce. You can't do that. It's not going to work out. They were all justified doubts. Those were not doubters. Those were not haters. Those were people that had just seen car companies fail in the past and seen how electric cars had gone. There was absolute 100% reason to assume it wouldn't work. And the fact that it did is, quite frankly, a miracle. And the fact that they're doing all this is insane, which is why I love talking about it. But it's also completely justified to have all these doubts in Nikola, because Tesla had to power through those doubts and prove everyone wrong. So that's kind of my opinion on them, because there's a lot of people asking me to talk about them, and my thoughts on it is, you got the odds against you. You're going up against a lot of competition, and a lot of the numbers you're promising don't sound legit. And the fact that you want to do $0 reservations and base your market value off that doesn't look too good. So you got to prove us wrong. It's not my job to give you the benefit of the doubt. It's your job to prove everyone who's doubting you
The
wrong,
fact that
'cause
they
that's what
went
Tesla
ahead
did.
and took, the other part of his name and like, oh, we're just like Tesla and Nikola.
that
And
in
I'm like,
itself is already
I'm like,
sketchy.
this is you're riding on the back of other people's success, real success, proven success
Yeah.
that took over a decade to implement, manufacture, and like you said, profit, the whole thing like that. You're just riding on the backs of it, and you're trying to use cheap marketing and build your company around that is tacky, and my bias towards is like I wouldn't say it's unprofessional, but it's just I don't take you serious. I think you're a gimmick for all the wrong reasons, and like you said, you need to
the name is the first thing I would change.
Yeah, you need to prove me wrong.
That's just such a poor way to. I mean, it feels so copycatish to
like,
be
what
like,
if we did?
well,
What if we did our own tech company and called it Banana? It's like
That's what it feels like. If Samsung branded themselves as
Banana.
Banana, yeah,
Fruit
it would just
Phone
everyone would
X.
have a hard time taking it seriously.
Yeah, it's like
You know?
you're a joke. From the offset, you're kind of jokish. I watched this week. I was watching their stock because people were like, "Oh my god, it's spiked." I'm just like,
It's crazy what's going on with Nikola stock. Like, so many people are caught up in the hype of it and taking so much of their word as sacred, with very little track record of the CEO, and he's been a part of several failed projects in the past, and so much of their value is based on empty promises. Basically, they're like, oh, we're going to work with this company, they're going to build the trucks, and this company they're going to build the battery packs. Oh, and also we're going to make a Badger pickup truck that you can reserve now, even though they've not even made a prototype for it.
Right.
That was really sketchy to me. Like, Rivian's one thing where pretty much if you watch any of their videos or any of their tweets, all the replies are like, yeah, it's great, make the car. That's everyone's opinion. Like, yeah, you made a great prototype, we've seen that, we get it, the prototype's awesome, make a bunch of them now. Like, give us a price point,
bet you
start
won't
selling
do it again. mass market.
that you won't do it again, because in 2020, with Tesla doing all the things that they're doing, we are so sick of electric car prototypes.
For sure.
That's why I don't spend much time with them on my channel. Like, I'm going to do a video later about why I talk so much about Tesla and not that much about other EVs. It's because we're sick of the prototypes that are coming out in 2 years or 3 years. We want results. We want mass production. We want factories pumping out vehicles, because that's what Tesla's doing. So if you're not doing that, it's not that interesting.
If you're not doing it, you're not moving the ball forward. You're not moving the industry
No.
forward. You're just building up
No.
hype for the sake of selfish brand reasonings. Like, oh, look at us there. Like, okay,
We can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because competition is good, but also good competition
executing it
is the only way
is important.
to benefit competition. Yeah, if it's competition that's objectively worse than in every way, it's not really competition.
True.
It's embarrassment.
Because a lot of people just think, that they think, oh, these other EV companies are starting up and they're going to compete with Tesla. They're going head to head. But if they can't surpass them in some way, like when I actually had a source contact me from Rivian when I did my Adventure network about them. And he talked to me about what they're planning, and they're like, okay, the R1T, which is coming out next year, is going to max out at like 160 kilowatts of charging speed. And I'm like, okay, you're behind already.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're saying your range, your prices, your charge speed can't even match what's out now. There's V3 chargers all over the place, and hundreds of V3 capable charging stations and cars on the road now.
Yeah.
And you're saying, well, next year we're hoping to have something that's slower and more expensive and with less of a network. That's not competition. That's just alternative. That's bad.
Yeah.
You're not pushing the ball forward. You're just showcasing, well, we can do it too.
It's a Dell tower.
Like if you're
Yeah,
trying to
we
compete,
know you can
if you're
do
trying
it.
to compete with a worse product, and you're not even going to make like a lower cost for it, you're not even. That's not real. That's not even competing in the market. Oh, but we're going for this segment, the non-premium. But you're charging premium price for it, or you will, because you got to recoup them costs, especially first gen stuff. And like, oh, it's worse in every single way. And we're looking at maybe third. Like, if you were to do that and sell it at like 18,000, like a normal like low end car, I could see maybe something. But even then, it's like that's you won't make your money back. The company, that's bad. That's a very bad
It's
investment.
not sustainable.
It's
Yeah.
no, not at all. Yeah. They're
And
gonna put all
Ford
their money
delayed
in.
their-
They're gonna put all their money in marketing too, because Tesla. That's where they're like, well, we're not paying for marketing. You're all
Yeah.
doing that. You guys are doing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
dedicated channels and podcasts for it.
Yeah, Ford delayed the electric F-150 to 2022. So Cybertruck's even beating Ford to the punch.
Yeah.
Tesla is going to release an electric pickup before Ford can, and their bread and butter is the pickup truck, which
Sure.
says something about how aggressive they are with their timelines. And I think Cybertruck's a game changer. Like Sandy Monroe said, it really shouldn't even be compared to pickup trucks because
For sure.
of the market it's going for. So
They're so aggressive because this is all that they have, and we talked about it before. When you have other markets that's bringing in the money that are gas vehicles, it's not your priority. If you actually had something to lose off of the electric vehicle market, then you would make for damn sure that is going to be successful, and you're going to do all the
Right.
R&D. You're going to do everything that you can. And people who just like, well, we have a division of EV. If you don't make that your priority to try to compete or even be in a playing field with Tesla, it won't work by design.
Yeah.
Stockholders
Yeah,
will get
I
upset.
saw-
Like,
Right.
They're like, what are you doing? The money's here. Put your money, like, we need it here. And then CEOs, all they see is dollar figures and stuff because that's their job. It's not a vision. It's a money grab.
Yeah.
Where Elon, this was his vision.
Mm-hmm.
He just so happens to find a way to make it profitable. Good for you, Elon. No?
it's a miracle, really is. I still can't wrap my head around how they do all the things that they do and still somehow turn a profit.
For sure.
Yeah, it's quite genius on like I said, several different levels. Even doing one of these things is a challenge.
Yeah.
Doing all of them at the same time is ridiculous. But I want Nikola to prove everyone wrong. I want their vision to come true. But I just have such a hard time believing
Change
it.
your name.
And
Yeah, change your
buy
name would be a
and,
good first start.
and reserve an Edison truck from Tailosive. It will be
We
shipping in
drew this really cool
2025.
concept picture. Here's a
See?
photo.
Exactly. It looks beautiful.
You should
And-
believe all the specs based on what we think will
It's
happen.
gonna
And we're
cost
selling it on the form of a
$10,000.
shirt. There it is. That's how we get our
You buy our shirt and you get that's your reservation.
Yeah.
But they also said the Badger would ship as an electric, and then later you'd be able to buy a hydrogen fuel cell attachment. Which, I don't even.
Hydrogen
know where to
is
start
the
with that.
worst thing.
But they
ever.
also said. Then they also said they have this extreme energy density breakthrough that's way higher energy density per dollar than the next closest, Tesla battery or anyone. And they're sitting on that technology. They just are going to sell it to everyone. They haven't decided who yet, but they've already cracked the code on the battery. It's going to be $50 per kilowatt hour. We just haven't shipped it yet. And
you can make anything in the lab. Making it on a
I have
scale
no clue.
is a completely different thing.
And at the same time, they have this off-roading vehicle that's not even, it doesn't exist. It's a rendering on their website. And it says the range is like 140 miles, and the battery pack is 125 kilowatt hours.
Jeez.
And they say they got next-generation energy density and battery pack tech. It's like, it just doesn't line up to me, which is why I smell like he's going to vanish like a year from now with a bunch of money. I feel like he's just going to
Fire
vanish
Festival
off the face
style.
of the earth. Yeah, that's what it feels like it's going to happen soon. But again, it'd be great if I was wrong. It'd be great if they actually cracked the code and they actually came up with ways to make hydrogen super cheap and somehow, they're not doing vertical integration. They're doing almost everything horizontally integrated, where we just came up with everything and we're going to sell it to everybody else and they can figure it out. Just, I don't see it, but either way, Tesla Semi will exist before their Semi by a long shot, because I don't think their Semi is going to come out at all.
Yeah.
I think the company's going to fold up and get caught up in some huge SEC scandal long
wouldn't be
before their
surprised.
vehicles get delivered. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, closing thoughts, gents?
Wow, I
Randy's
want a
having an
Cybertruck.
affair with a Model Y.
I'll go tell Phoenix.
No.
Okay. All right, ladies and gents. We'll catch you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Ba-bum-bum-bum.